Hello, everybody, and I think it's still good morning here, just about, in Lockett. Here we are for our 13th studio show on MXGP TV, where our studio show guests, after this 4-week break, are Ben Townley from Team Suzuki World MXGP. We'll catch up with him in just a few moments. We've also got Giacomo Garibaldi, team manager for Garibaldi Honda, and Paul Jonas from Red Bull KTM Factory Racing. But, Lisa, we've had a break, 3-4 weeks. You're back in the hot seat as well. We've had Emig the last couple of shows.
Have you missed me?
I have, yes.
I'm recharged, ready to go for the last 6 rounds.
And looking forward to the rest of the season from here on out, I guess.
I am, yeah. You?
Absolutely, I am, yeah. I am. There's a lot to look forward to as well. But before we talk to Ben Townley, who's obviously out for the rest of the season now, let's just remind ourselves what happened all that time ago, 3-4 weekends ago, at the Fallback MXGP of Lombardia in Italy. Here's some highlights from MXGP Race 2 from Mantova.
Final gate drop before the 4-week break, and it was Tony Cairoli who grabbed the foxhole shot ahead of Tim Geiser. The Italian fans were on their feet, and there was euphoria. Paulin got himself into third early on, ahead of Dennis Ulrich on the Saarholz KTM, as the two giants of MXGP now battled over the lead. The Slovenian fans loved it. Cairoli really put under pressure in the early stages of the race. Paulin was coming under pressure from Boutron. Another fast start for the Marchetti Racing Team KTM rider. Despite putting in the same lap times as these two, Paulin was a lonely figure in third place. But what a race, what an epic battle. Cairoli and Geiser swapping positions, trading paint, banging bars, even an acknowledgement from Geiser as they touched coming out of one of the corners. Cairoli wasn't in the mood for gentlemanly conduct, ran it up the inside of the Slovenian, who looked back to see exactly what was going on there. Cairoli desperate to find his way ahead of the young pretender. Urged on by the fans, plus the team, Cairoli thought he'd made a break for it. Meanwhile, Koldenhoff, Boutron and DeSalle battled over third, fourth, fifth. DeSalle eventually got himself into fourth position. A scrub almost went wrong for Geiser, lost him a little bit of time. Cairoli was on borrowed time. The pain in his left hand starting to cause him 1 or 2 problems. It wasn't enough though for one last effort. He charged down the inside. Took over the lead as DeSalle got himself past Koldenhoff to secure fourth place. Cairoli's luck ran out though. Made a mistake at the top of the hill. Geiser ran up the inside, took over the lead with about 6 laps to go. And then a mistake from Cairoli allowed Paulin to sneak into second with 2 laps to go, and that kept Cairoli off the overall podium. Geiser would make it a double win in Mantova. Paulin second, Cairoli third. Geiser victorious here in Italy. Paulin and DeSalle joining him on the podium at round 12. Geiser now 92 points clear at the top of the MXGP standings as we head to Lockett, round 13.
Well, that was Mantova 4 weeks ago, and a rider who started the weekend but didn't finish the weekend. Ben Townley is with us now from Team Suzuki World MXGP. Ben, just remind us again why you're sitting out the rest of the season, please.
Yeah, well, we actually stayed in Mantova to do some testing after the event. Suzuki had some new parts for us to test for the remainder of the season, and it had rained a lot there actually, and I hit some water and my hand slipped off and I fell onto my stomach, hit the handlebars quite badly on one of the hills, and yeah, I ended up going into hospital, and the results showed that I'd damaged my bowel. So it's quite a serious injury. I spent 12 days in hospital, and yeah, I'll have to sit out the remainder of the season, and yeah, that'll be it for this year.
Which is a shame, really, because obviously a result that captivated everybody's imagination was the Motocross of Nations last year, Erne, which is the reason why you ended up at Suzuki in the first place, I guess. But that result there wasn't a fluke, was it, at France, Motocross Nations? I guess it was some time in the planning.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a long time in the planning. Actually, I rekindled the fire of racing again, and I was really enjoying it. It was, I did a lot of riding in New Zealand to prepare for it, and it's seeing it here on the screen now, it's definitely one of the highlights of my career. To come where I came from last year, really, I think was the biggest thing that I was so proud of. To do all the preparation in New Zealand and come over there and race the bike that I was riding. I obviously had a lot of support from a few key people here in Europe and in America, but to do that off my own back, I was really proud of, and I had believed that I could. So it was nice to come there and actually be able to achieve that result.
You said it was a long time in the planning, but how much of what happened in Ernie influenced that decision to move to Suzuki, and what did it hinge on a great performance?
It did personally hinge on a good performance for me, because I didn't want to have a shot at, I wanted to have a shot at racing if I believed I could race, at the front, and that result there proved to me in my mind that, I could come back and with a good team and structure and people around me, that I would be able to have an opportunity to race at the front again. So, that was, critical for me personally. Obviously, for a team to also, put that, to have take a chance on me again and give me the opportunity, it was critical that I had a result as well.
Well, fast forward then, the deal's done. You end up in Qatar. Two 11th place finishes, not the start of the season you wanted. What was the problem in Qatar?
I think there was a number of issues. I didn't spend a lot of time on that actual race bike itself, and still probably, not quite as much racing as I would have liked, leading into it on the Suzuki. But, we were there, and I think it really showed us, some really holes in our program, or with my setup, and, we managed to make some good gains for Thailand a week later, and proved that.
Well, we're looking at Thailand here.
Yeah. You mentioned Thailand, back to winning ways, and a weekend that seemed to have everything, really, a DNF, a win, and a second for you.
Yeah. It was obviously, I felt like I, could ride, at the front. That was obviously the whole, thing for me to go to the Motocross Nations. So when I was in Thailand, it didn't feel that I was out of place at all. I felt comfortable out there, and obviously the conditions as well. I love the heat, and so that probably helped me to a certain extent. But it was it was a shame that I had that DNF. I went down, I slid on the down ramp of that jump, and the crash wasn't overly big. It was just the effect that it had on the radiator. It squashed the radiator, and I wasn't able to continue in that first moto. So that was a shame.
Do you look on that then, when you look at the qualifying race win, the second in the final moto, and where you were before you crashed in the first moto, do you look at that with a kind of an air of frustration a little bit, as a case of it could have been a season changer for you, couldn't it? First round 2 11ths, second round a qualifying win, a second, a DNF, could have got on the podium. Gives you a whole new confidence boost, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I got that anyway, just from running up front in the qualifying race, and then in the first moto, and then especially in the first moto, because there was Tony, and Geyser and Fevre, and we were all sort of there mixing it up, and for me it was really a sense of, well, I can race up here, if I'm get the starts that I need, and I think also in the qualifying race, that was a big confidence booster for me as well.
Sadly, that was the best that we saw of you in terms of running up front. But how would you evaluate your season, as brief as it's been, and what are your plans for the rest of this year and for next?
Yeah, well, it's been extremely frustrating for me. I don't think that I've really achieved what I set out to do. I haven't achieved what I set out to do, which is a shame. But I guess going back on, the fact that I got this opportunity and I wanted this opportunity, I can't look back and say, that I'm too disappointed. I went out there and gave it my all. I had a great team around me and the best, team, products, structure. There is, one of the best, and I was able to make the use of that. I just couldn't get the results, that I'd be satisfied with, and ultimately that's what I was here to do, and I couldn't do it. So it's just frustrating, really.
Okay. Well, Ben, we've got some questions on social media for you. Nico Ravasic says, "Why did you go from Honda to Suzuki?"
Well, it was the best opportunity I had. I didn't. at the time I'd had a long relationship with Honda, and you know, I probably would have at the time liked to have stayed with Honda, but just didn't have that opportunity to stay there. And you know, obviously my relationship with Stefan Sylvain goes back a long time, and I thought that was a great fit to make that move to have the opportunity to race over here for sure.
Okay, and finally, Michael Gibbs, would you consider helping racers in other countries to develop the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've you know, in the time that I wasn't racing, I did do a lot of mentoring and coaching with riders, and absolutely would. It's something that I really enjoy, and it's quite a great sense of enjoyment, you know, seeing those riders achieve good results, you know, especially riders from probably further parts, you know, away in the world, you know, Australia, New Zealand, the likes of that. I really enjoy seeing them come to places like this, and I'm able to coach them, but probably mentor them just as much, you know, for that transition to race at the highest level over here, because it's, although, you know, they ride really well in those parts of the world, it's that transition of getting over here and being able to be that same competitor, if not better, when you get over here. So I do really enjoy that.
All right, well, Ben Townley, thanks for joining us here. We are out of time for you, but Ben Townley, Team Suzuki World MXGP, and obviously get well soon.
Cheers.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Ben.
Right, our next guest is waiting in the wings, but before we meet Giacomo Garibaldi, a quick reminder as to what you can look forward to in terms of summer promotions on MXGP TV. Okay, we still have our summer special offer on MXGPTV.com, saving you 50% on the 2016 MXGP TV Season Pass, where you can watch every round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations, and the Monster Energy SMX Riders Cup, live and on demand. Also, we have the Super Motocross Riders and Manufacturers Cup takes place at the Veltins Arena in Germany on October the 8th. Tickets are sale on mxgp.com. Click the event on the calendar for more info, and rider announcements are imminent for that event, but I can tell you there will be riders from both the MXGP and the USA competing in Germany. Of course, don't forget to keep on liking us on our MXGP Facebook page as well. Or for more information on upcoming races, go to our website mxgp.com. And I'm glad to say that our second guest is in position, of course, Giacomo Garibaldi from Honda Garibaldi, team owner, team manager. Welcome to our studio show, Giacomo.
Thank you, Paul.
I guess where we should start, last year with Tim Geiser winning MX2 World Championship, that was the cherry on the cake for you as a team manager. And, you know, for a lot of teams, team managers, that never really happens, does it? But this year it's
even
like
better.
The dream is continuing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we didn't expect, you know, to have a start of the season like we had with Tim this year. We knew that he was very fast on a 450 bike, but we expected to see him in top 5, let's say, doing some podiums during the season. But really, when we saw Qatar, there we realized that we could go for something more than some podiums.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you realised then that you could go for something more, but were you surprised that he actually won both motos so soon in the season as well?
Of sure. Of course, you are surprised because when you see winning 2 races like he did with quite wide margins and riding cool without you know, putting any pressure on him. I mean, everybody was surprised because you expect at least to see a little bit of pressure on a young rider like him. He's just 19, so. And what surprised me more than everything was that he has respect for the top riders in the class, but he was not afraid to pass the top guys like he did here with Bobby, like he did many times with Polen or Cairoli. I thought he was really maybe waiting a little bit more for the passes, while we saw immediately in the first race that he just went through and left them there.
Yeah. Well, it's been impressive since then, hasn't he? 13 race wins, 4 double moto victories, 7 Grand Prix wins. What is it, apart from hard work, obviously, that you know, sees Tim where he is at this moment in time?
I think the mental side is the most important part for a rider, but especially for Tim, because Tim is still very, very young, is very green. So he needs around him, you know, the good people who can not interfere too much with their work, but can help, can give support to him. So the mental side, I think, made the big difference, because you can have the speed, you can have the style, the quality to do some what he does on the track, but then if you're not feeling right in your head, then you cannot perform every week as he's doing. Maybe you can do one top race and then the following week maybe, you know, some mistakes. He did some mistakes at the beginning of the season, but I don't feel they were really mistakes. I think he was really pushing the limits, and when you go so fast, sometimes it can happen that you can make a small mistake.
Well, he's had some. There's been a lot of talking points, obviously the race wins, but his battles with Tony and Roman this year have been pretty epic, haven't they? How, for us anyway, how have you seen the racing between these guys this year?
Yeah, I think they just have raised the bar a little bit too high for the rest of the field. And sometimes going back home and watching on TV what we've seen on the track the previous day, my impression was that these two riders were
Tim and Tony.
Yeah, Tim. Sorry, Tim and Romain.
Yes.
Okay, Mantova was another chapter, and there was a fantastic battle between them. But in the first part of the season, when we saw many times Tim and Romain going on their own in front, looks like they were riding part of the tracks at a much higher speed than the other riders, and you could really see on TV more than live. And then with Tony, he had a great battle in Mantova. I think there he showed that really he wanted to win, because at that time in front on an Italian track, in front of the Italian crowd and the supporters of Tony, tried to beat him anyway after two attacks of Tony. I think there he really showed that he wanted to win.
Yeah, well, we have 6 rounds left. Tim is 92 points clear of Tony.
Yeah.
How would you as a team approach the remainder of the season?
I would say, all season, like the beginning of the season, we are trying not to talk with him about the championship, not about the points. Just every time I tell him, go in and enjoy your riding. That's something you will never forget in your life. I always say to Tim, in 20 years' time, you will remember this season, and you will enjoy just closing your eyes about these moments. So just take it easy, enjoy, because you don't have to put pressure. I think he will feel toward the end of the season a little bit of pressure, but with this big margin, if he can keep this in the next 2 GPs, I think he can ride quite relaxed.
I guess the difference is he's already won a world championship, so he knows what it's like to fight for it. This weekend, Lockett, we've had a 4-week break. Tony is now riding a 350 again. What are your thoughts on that this weekend? Why do you think maybe he's gone back to the 350?
I don't know, maybe because he did his best results on a 350 bike till 2015. Yeah. So I think he showed today that maybe in the time lap is faster, because he was the second or third today, while we on a 450 was a little bit back. I think maybe it's a good choice for him.
Okay. And just really, really quickly, we've got about a minute left. How's the MX2 riders doing for you?
Unfortunately, we are missing a little bit this year a top rider, and we expected a little bit more from Jorge. So he's not really performing as we expected, but we see. Okay.
Giacomo Garibaldi, thanks for joining us here today on the studio guest on MXGPTV.com. Right, before we meet our final guest, Paul Jonas from Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, let's check what happened in Mantova, the fullback MXGP of Lombardia, Italy at Mantova. Here's highlights from MX2 Race 2.
MX2 Race 2, 1 or 2 riders jumped the gun a little bit early. Max Anstey, one of them, that got caught out at the gate. Also Jeremy Seawer, as Alexander Tonkov and Jorge Zaragoza duked it out over the Fox whole shot line, but it was Tonkov that just got the nod over the Spaniard. Brian Sue went down again. Not a great day for him here in Italy, as Tonkov led the way. Jonas was initially second, but Hurlings took 4 corners to find his way from third to first. And from there, the bullet was never headed. Tonkov tried to hang on for second, but at the end of the first lap, Pauls Jonas made it a Red Bull KTM 1-2 by moving past the Russian into second position. Jonas looked good in Moto number 2. Ika Larinaga, the Spaniard, was having a good ride on the number 66. He was up there in 5th position in the early stages, but it would eventually fade to 13th as the more established stars worked their way through, including the 189 of Brian Bogus, who recovered from a poor start to charge his way up the order. Got himself onto the back of the 59 of Tonkov, made this pass to go third just before the halfway mark. Tonkov riding with a hand injury picked up in practice on Saturday. Brian Bogus was having the ride of his life though. Second in race 1 and was on course for a first ever MX2 podium as Benoit Paturel charged past Tonkov and eventually got himself up to 4th. Conrad Muse was having a much better second race, battling with Jeremy Seewer. Those two fighting over 5th and 6th place in the later stages of the race until Seewer caught the rear wheel of the American, went down to 9th, but would eventually come home in 7th. Dylan Ferrandis, another rider that got caught out at the start, had one of those rides back through the field to get 6th, but it was a second win for Jeffrey Hurlings. He's now won all but 1 moto in 2016. Jonas was 2nd, Bogus 3rd, but Hurlings, your overall winner. And Bogus making it a Dutch 1-2, his first ever podium in MX2. Dylan Ferrandis 3rd overall. And Jeffrey Hurlings now 169 points clear of Seewer with Jonas in 3rd.
Well, that was MX2, race 2, and another fantastic weekend for Jeffrey Hurlings, although he is not here this weekend. Broke a collarbone a couple of weekends ago and will sit this one out, unfortunately. But his Red Bull KTM factory teammate is here, Pauls Jonas. Welcome to our MXGP TV studio show, Pauls. We'll get straight in. Currently 3rd place in points. And we have a guy from social media asking a question straight away. CRF 150 Rider 122 asks, are you happy with where you're at in 3rd place in the championship so far this year?
Yeah, 3rd place is not so bad, but like my season has been a little bit of struggle, In the beginning of the season, I made many mistakes, many crashes, and the speed has been there, just some bad luck and some bad decisions, I think. So 3rd place is not so bad, just the gap till the 1st and 2nd place is too big, but we still 6 races to go, and we just want to keep building. We did little changes in last 3 weeks when we had off, then yeah, just keep building and looking forward, for the last races.
Well, you talk about the gaps. Compared to last year, this time last year was round 13, so after 12 rounds, last year we were 4th in the championship, 26 points behind 2nd, and you'd had 3 podiums, and now you're 3rd, 25 points behind 2nd, so only 1 point. But you've had 5 podiums, so in a way, it's an improvement, but maybe not the one you wanted. Maybe you wanted to be a bit closer.
Yeah, for sure. Last year was my first year in a full year in a GP, so that was last year. Just it was so big step for me, and it was just something new, But this year I'm a little bit more experienced, and yeah, maybe I wanted too much in the beginning of the season because the season started so well. I had some bad luck just before the season when I injured my thumb, so I couldn't get a bike time in the last month before the first GPs. But still, just my riding hasn't been that good as I want, It's just one thing. I want to be better and better, not stay on the same level. So just, yeah, want to get closer to Jeffrey.
Well, your best result was in Valkenswaard, where you were 2nd. But where do you think it has gone wrong since then? I know you did say bad luck and also some bad decisions as well. What do you mean when you say decisions?
Yeah, first of all, in Thailand, I get in the first start, it was not so bad. Just in the 2nd corner, I wanted to pass some guys too quick and crashed again. So and then I need to start from the last position. Same in Teutschenthal. I get a whole shot in the 2nd race and I crash in the 2nd corner. But it's just it was crazy because I did the sighting lap. I said, yeah, if I do take the whole shot, just carefully in this corner because it's freshly watered, so it's slippery, and I crashed just there. so it was mind-blowing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what do you need to do to put things right? I mean, we had a summer break. Have you thought about anything with you or maybe with the bike?
Yeah, in the summer break we just put some decent hours on the bike and changed some little things with my training with the bike. So I try to stay consistent, no injuries. That's the main goal for the season.
Yeah. Okay.
You are third in the championship, as we said, 25 points behind Jeremy Seaway. Seems to be your biggest rival at the moment. And you two guys have had one or two tense battles this year that actually you've come out best from, Spain and Matterley.
Yeah.
Just talk us through some of the battles that you've had. I think we've got a clip actually of this one was in Spain.
Spain. Yeah, it was really nice. You know, we were battling almost whole race. He was in front, then I passed him, and he tried to pass me back in the last lap. And also in Matterley, he passed me in the first race in the last lap. I made a little mistake, and he passed me there. And he tried the same thing in the second moto, but then he made a mistake. You know, but it's nice to have battles like that. It just makes the racing better, and I think also for spectators, it's just nice to watch, and I also really enjoy battles like that.
Yeah.
Well, those crashes are pretty tame compared to some of the ones you had last year. And we have them, Sweden and Leon, Mexico. And again, we have a guy on social media here, I assume it's a guy, Whip It Like Geiser. He asks, okay, what goes through your mind when you fly off your bike like this in Sweden and also in Leon in Mexico? It must be a horrible feeling.
I think you cannot tell those words on TV, you know. No. But
here's the first one.
This one was pretty gnarly.
What happened there actually?
Yeah, on the takeoff there was a little rut, and I just tried to scrub it a little bit, and I touched my feet on the takeoff. So then I went off the bike, and also in Mexico that was crazy. I even didn't understand how I get up there, but you know, the first thing I get up here and I was like, yeah, where is my bike? And then the bike, boom, lands. Okay, let's go. I even didn't think about something hurt or anything, just go.
And that was a shame because you were challenging for the championship at that point. You just won your first race as well.
Yeah, that was also one of the bad decisions. You know, I crashed in the start and I was already after one lap. I was, I don't know, 6, 7 or something like that. And then I just went a little bit too crazy again. And I need to work on that.
Okay.
Well, the main thing is you're okay. But I have another question on social from Xander108. And he says, when will you move up to MXGP?
You know, I'm still young. I'm 19 years old. So we will see, you know, how it goes. It's tough to say now, but just moving step by step. And, we will see. For sure, next year, for sure not.
No. Yeah, he's still a baby. Right, before Paul disappears, just worth mentioning this weekend, because he's an Alpine Stars rider, he's brought in his 2017 race jersey here. And he's going to be racing in the 2017 range this weekend, along with his teammate David Puches, and of course Roman Febvre, Jeremy Van Horpik at Yamaha are as well. And thank you. I think qualifying race and the 2 races tomorrow, so 3 sets of kit this weekend. And actually, I was at the launch earlier on this year, and I had the menu signed by some of the riders. Maybe one of them was there. And but if you go to my Instagram page, pmalin11, or my Twitter page, paulmalin11, I've posted a picture of that. And of course, you can be one of you can be the lucky winner of it because there was only one of it. So there's 7 signatures on there, and of course, this guy might have signed it. So guess the 7. We're going to run this for 1 week, and I will announce a winner at Lommel in 1 week's time. But thanks for watching our studio show this weekend on MXGP TV. It's great to be back after 4 weeks. I'm sure you're feeling the same.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting, you know.
Yeah.
And a good time in practice this morning, first fastest.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. So we can see that improvements are working, and just need to do the same after, you know, the most important thing tomorrow. Yeah. It's not going to be easy, but just need to stay calm.
Yeah, obviously looking to try and claim some points back on, first of all, on Jeremy and, of course, Jeffrey, his teammate. But we are at a time here. Make sure you sit back and enjoy all the action on the studio show this weekend. On the GP this weekend at Loket, the Czech Republic. And, of course, we'll be back next weekend when we go to the deep sand of Lommel in Belgium. So thanks for watching. Enjoy all the racing on MXGPTV.com. We've got the 65 and 85 European Championship here this weekend, as well as the 300s. So we'll see you in a week's time. Thanks for watching. See you then. Bye for now.